And we are back at the OPP, the Oquendo Perspective Podcast. First and foremost, I would like to thank the Most High Yahuwah for this opportunity. All power, honor, and glory belongs to Him, and nothing goes on without Him being okay with it going on. With that being said, my people, what it is, mi gente, que lo que hay. Really quickly, quick announcements. July 25th, 26th, it's the weekend for the Oquendo family reunion. I don't have all the details, so I'm going to send it out to Freddie, and he'll fill you in on what you guys need to do. Freddie, take it away.
Mi familia, mi gente, que Dios me lo diga, Dios me lo guarde. How you doing? We're 2 weeks away from the 25th to 26th and the 27th of July, which is our 2025 Oquendo family reunion in Chicago, Illinois. So make your way out there. This year is a 3-day event. Friday night, Saturday, and we have a surprise for you Sunday. So for more information, if you need more information, email this address right here, and either Mindy or Jeannie will communicate with you. Thank you. See you there, mi familia. It's time to bring it.
Okay. So like I said, July 25th and 26th, that weekend, Oquendo's getting together, eat some good food, hang out with the family, you know what I'm saying? Let's just do it. It's a 10-year, it's 10 years, so 10th anniversary. So let's see what we can do. Okay, so I just want to say that I haven't done a podcast. It's almost been like a month, so that I haven't been here speaking with you guys. It's because I've been the last time I was here, I told you guys about the book that I had written, and I signed a contract and everything, and so I've been working on that, trying to finalize the book. So I really didn't have time to get in here and speak with you guys, my peoples. But I'm gonna fill you guys in a little bit on what's going on with the book. So really, the first stage of the book, that once it got accepted, once it was written, and so the first thing I had to do, I had to come up with was like concept covers, front covers for the book, and I'm not really an artist, so so basically one night, me and my son, we were just talking about my son Sebastian, we were just talking about ideas for the book cover, and I told him I had this idea, like this concept for it. And while we're talking, what I'm saying, these young kids nowadays, as I'm talking, he goes on his phone and he goes to the AI and starts pulling different concept photos, So we came up with photos. We sent them into the publishing company to see what they thought about, So I have a copy of one of the concepts. This may be the cover, but it may not be the cover. So I will explain to you guys the cover. So this is the concept cover that one of the concept covers that we're working with right here. So basically, the book is called Treacherous. The treacherous it's about a treacherous spirit, which is this spirit trying to commit murder, which is trying to take this person's life. But every time that he would try to cause harm to the individual, the Most High would be like, not my chosen. So as you can see, there's like an angel in between. The enemy, the spirit's trying to overtake the individual, but the Most High sends protective covering, and so this is one of the concepts for the cover. So it's treacherous, and then that's we've been working on that. Also been working on the back cover, the bio, I have talked a little bit about the book, like a little sales pitch about the book, So we're working on that. Also the interior of the book, how the book is gonna look like inside, So like I said, this is the first time I've never done anything like this, so I didn't know what to expect. But it was gone pretty smoothly. I'm pretty much done with. I think we're pretty much good with the cover, the back cover, the interior. Now we just gotta get down to see when the release date is. It was supposed to be October 2025. That was the estimated release date, but they might release it maybe in September, maybe a little earlier. Who knows? We still got to talk about that with the publishing company. So that's why I haven't been able to get on here with you guys, my peoples, and speak, for a little bit. So in today's episode, I had a whole different episode that the father he had given me to talk about with you guys. It has to do with the book, because the book is about spiritual warfare. So I've had questions of how is it in this spiritual realm, and are ghosts just floating around, and just chaos all over the place? And no, it's not like that. There's actually there's a hierarchy, so it's really much like ran like a military. They have their own military, and I was going to fill you guys in on a little bit of what the spiritual realm, how it works when it comes to, and people aren't just getting random attacks and not know what's going on. There's reasons why, things happen. So that was what I was supposed to talk about today. But last night, in a conversation with the father, he changed it around on me, okay? So he wanted me to talk about a couple of downloads that he has given me. So I will talk about them really quickly. Okay. and then I'm gonna talk about how I was a little discouraged, because I feel like sometimes when you're out here speaking truths or whatever that don't coincide with the mainstream religion, then you get shunned away. You get shut down really quickly, even by your own family sometimes. So I was in meditation, praying, and I was telling the father, this is really frustrating when I'm out here yelling. I'm yelling, saying I don't want people just to believe what I say. I want to help people help themselves. Basically, whatever I say, go back and study yourselves approve. Go back and do that. Help yourself. And I feel like more people are just shushing you away than actually accepting what's going on. And times is getting rough. Times is getting rough. And I'm out here trying to help people help themselves. And I actually I have a message for you, chosen ones out there. It's first of all, being chosen, it sounds like it's wonderful. It is. Being chosen by the Most High, it's something miraculously. It was something awesome. It's something that we didn't choose it to be. You didn't choose to be chosen. You were chosen before birth. So, and like I said, I was praying to the Father, and I was frustrated. And I'm like, what can I do to try to make it more presentable to the people, so they can hear what we're saying, because there's a lot of us saying the same thing, but pretty much we're all getting shut down. So the father gave me a download, you know what I'm saying, on that, because he could tell I was getting a little frustrated, because through my meditation I would keep coming back to it. So to your chosen ones, so I'm working on an anime. So I tend to watch a lot of anime right now, because it's giving me different ideas, different concepts of how to fit things in. So one day I was watching this anime, and the download came at me as I'm watching this anime. So basically, what it was, he's like, you know what? The download said, "Hey, don't get frustrated. Do not get frustrated. As a chosen person, your job is to come and to complete your assignment." Now, being chosen means you're going to be exempt from any harm or any trials and tribulations? No. In fact, you're going to receive more trials and more tribulations than a regular individual, because the enemy don't want whatever's inside you to come out. So what he does, he sends trials and tribulations to cause havoc in your life. And since he can't stop you, but he can do things for you to stop yourself. So understand this. The Father and download says, understand this. The true definition of a hero is involving yourself when you don't have to. See, the definition of a hero is different for the Most High than it is for the world. For the world, Superman's a hero. Batman, Spider-Man, those are the heroes. But see, the Most High doesn't need that type of hero. The Most High needs someone that's going to stand up and speak what the Father gives them to speak. A lot of people are out there scared to say things because, they don't want to get canceled. They don't want to be, saying, looked, this guy's a weirdo. This guy, just because you're not following the mainstream, religion, and but you're coming and speaking truths. That's what the Father wants. He wants you to come and speak. Have faith, speak the truth, and be bold about it. Do not be ashamed about it. Be bold, because guess what? You're trying to help people that you guys don't even know, but I know deep down inside your essence, your being, what you really want to do is help. And it's hard to help a person. So what we can do is help them help themselves. And if they're willing to help themselves, then they will get the answers that they need to get. So we can't give all the answers, but you guys, as long as you're doing what the assignment that the Father has sent you here to do, and you do it boldly, you're a hero. Not a Superman type of hero, but someone that can stand up and speak and not be ashamed of being shunned and disliked for your verbiage. So that was a little thing for the chosen right there. So now I'm gonna begin with. So I've had a couple of downloads, and we're gonna go over these downloads real quick. All right, and at the end, I'm gonna explain something that I had a conversation with my brother last night, and I'll explain to you what that was. Okay, so first thing is the download. So Saturday mornings, I wake up it was about 4:00 in the morning. I wake up. Okay, so here it goes. I get a dream, and in my dream, it's something that happened to me in real life many years ago, but I relived it in the dream. Okay, so what it was, I was at a Union Station, getting off the metro, and I had to, and then I went to UIC, the college out there is in downtown Chicago, So I had to take a test. It was like 9:00. I had to take a final at 9:00. So I had to be there because I want time to go ahead and complete my final, But I had missed the train that gave me time to easily walk over there and make it on time. No, so I missed that train, so I take a train after. So basically I had like 15 minutes to make it from Union Station to where the test was being taken at, So I'm over here. I'm in my dream. I'm running. I'm running. But everything was so surreal, and I'm running, and I'm trying to make it there, and I have to make it there at 9:00. There's a specific time I gotta be there, and I'm running, and I'm getting closer, and the time's winding down, and I'm running, and all of a sudden, boom! I wake up. When I wake up, my heart is pounding like if I was actually running in real life, like if I was in a dream. It was pounding, so I'm like, "Oh man, well, what's going on here? Why am I having this dream, Father?" You know what I'm saying? So I get to meditating real quick, and and meditating. And when you meditate, that's when the Father takes advantage and he speaks to you. He speaks to you. You know, you have to reach a level of meditation where you have that communication open with him, and he was, and you know, he speaks in many different ways. Many different ways. There is not one way. He can choose. He can do whatever he wants to get some message to you. It could be through a dream, through a vision. It could be through a you know, through a video. You know, it could be through watching something on TV. It could be a direct, you know, saying conversation with them. There's many ways of him reaching out. You know, you know, but you just have to know his voice. You know, and knowing his voice doesn't mean you know what he sounds like. Knowing his voice means you know that this is coming from the Most High, coming from upstairs, and not from you. You know. So yeah, so him being so awesome and so perfect that he is, he pretty much interpreted the dream for me. So he goes, right now in your life, in my life right now, yes, I'm not running towards a final. But in my life right now, I'm running and I have a set time where things have to happen. Okay. So that would be in the dream, that would be the final. There's a set time. Okay. So right now, he's like, you know what? I have maybe 2-3 months to get my book and try to get as much advertising, try to push it out there as much as I can. So when the time comes, I'm prepared, and it's prepared for it to do what it needs to do. You know, so right now, you know, I have to get to work. I gotta put some advertisement. I gotta do everything I can, you know, saying everything the Father asked me to do so I can, you know, help the book get, you know, saying get along. But then also, and that was at a micro level of my own self. Now he explained it to me as a macro level too. The macro level meaning this, now we're talking about the world, not just me, the world. Chosen ones. We're the ones that are running here. We're running because, you know, the time's running out. There's a set time where that message won't be, you don't have any more time to give it. It's too late. Too late. So you have to right now take advantage and go out there and do what you got to do. No matter, even if you get rejected, just do it. You know what I'm talking about? Just do it. Do it because the Father is assigned. He's assigned certain assignments for you. Go out there and do them because, like I said, time's running out. People are out here oblivious. People out here don't believe in anything, which is fine. Hey, if it's self-will, if that's what you want to do, you don't want to believe in anything, it's up to you, you know. But as a chosen person, we're out here yelling, trying to help you guys help yourselves. So that was at a macro level, and I was like, wow, that was just, it was an awesome morning of meditation, you know. And then he also gave me some ideas for some for some publicity, some advertisement, you know. So I'm like, wow, okay, cool, awesome. So that happened to me Saturday morning. Okay. So then a couple days pass, and remember I told you, chosen ones, you guys are gonna be tested constantly. Spiritual warfare does not take a break. Okay, so this is what happened to me. So I go to the gym. I go to the gym, you know, and I'm about to get my workout on. And there's this locker that's, I get the same locker every day, you know. So on Monday, I think it was Monday, yeah. On Monday, I go and, you know, I open a locker, you know, nothing. All of a sudden, you know, I've been looking at these beats that I want to buy, you know, while I work out, just put them in, you know, saying just there's good sound. You know, I've been looking at, you know, saying I've been wanting to buy them. Well, guess what? I opened the locker and boom, they were right there. The exact beats that I wanted, they're right there. I grab them, I look at them, they're brand new. I'm like, oh my gosh, what is, you know, oh, what is this? But all of a sudden, you know, the spirit gets shaken, and I was like, you know what? But you know what? This is not mine. Somebody forgot these. Somebody worked hard for this. So, you know what? I'm gonna pretend I didn't see them, And if somebody comes and says, "Hey, can I check your locker room if somebody forgot something in there?" I was gonna be like, "Yeah, go check it out." Check it out. And if they found it, boom, they can grab them. All right, buddy, see you later. Hey, good thing that you found your lost, beats. They're not cheap. So I'm pretty sure it would affect, it would bother anybody to lose anything like that. So then I work out for about an hour and a half. Then I go and I jump in the sauna, and then I take a shower and everything. So about 2 hours pass and nothing. So I'm like, bam. So okay, you know what? And all of a sudden, spiritual warfare commences. The battle's in the mind. So all of a sudden, I start hearing little voices. Hey, you know what? You're not stealing. Somebody forgot them. If you leave them there, I'm gonna go turn my key, and somebody's gonna come ask for the key later, and they're gonna open the locker, and they're gonna see, and they're gonna be like, "Thank you." So see, you're not really stealing. Hey, you snooze, you lose. So I'm over here, and that's what's going on in my head. But my spirit on this side is like, hey, hey, you know how it feels. People have stolen stuff from me before. You know how it feels. Do you want to make the person, feel that way as you felt? So this is going on in my head as I'm walking to the front desk and I'm about to turn in my key. So I turn in my key and I'm like, you know what, man, I'm just going to go ahead and keep them. You know what, whatever, I'm just going to take them, So then I start walking out of the gym. But my spirit is getting heavier and heavier. So I say, you know what? You're right, Father. You're right, Most High. You're right. Let me go back and turn these in. So I went back to the front desk and said, "Hey, I'm sorry, I forgot to give you guys this. Somebody forgot this in my locker. Put in in the lost and found. Maybe they'll come back and get them. Whatever. Saying I just, and as soon as I gave it away. I start working back outside, and I get the download. Of what was going on in the spiritual realm while this was going on. See, in the spirit realm, they don't take breaks. So you got the good side, and you got the evil side. They're warring constantly. So here I got the Father and his angels on this side wanting me to do right. To do what's right, and here I got the enemy and the flesh wanting me to be, hey man, I can save $200-300. You know what I'm saying? Why not? You're not hurting nobody. So in the spiritual realm, when when I decided to not turn them in at first, and I started walking out, the enemy side, they were like, we did it, we got him, we won. And when you do stuff like that, you open doors for them to sneak in. They have back doors to sneak in. Why? Because you're doing something that's not right. So the enemy side is like, yeah. And I'm walking. As I'm walking, they're boasting and they're pointing the fingers. Yeah, we won this. We won this battle. All of a sudden, as I'm walking down the hallway, I stop and I start thinking. So all that boasting. They were doing, what's going on? And then the good side is over here like, what's going to happen? What you going to do? The bad side is, come on, just keep going. Don't worry about it. What you going to do? As I turned around and went back and gave it up, the evil side, the enemy side, had to sit down. And there was a party in the good side. And what came to mind and the download was like, hey, that was the same thing happening with the story of Job. You know what? The bad side wanted Job to deny the Father, to talk bad about the Father, but the good side was like he was never gonna do it. It was a battle, and it was like a, they were like wagering. Even they were wagering, it was like a big wager. And in the story of Job, If you never know it, you go back into the podcast, and I've talked about it. And it was a party in heaven when Job overcame the enemy, and the Father multiplied everything that the enemy took away. He multiplied everything by 2. Why? Because the Father is that good. He's good. He's good. Okay. So so what I'm saying is that right there, it was spiritual warfare going on. But you don't see this, the other realm, what's going on. You just live the fleshly realm. And even though you think, oh, that's coincidence, that was not coincidence. How is it coincidence? It's exactly the ones that I want. Brand new. They're right there. I don't even have to go to the store. They're right there. I mean, they were brand new. You know what I'm saying? How is that possible? Is this coincidence? That's not a coincidence. And sometimes I can't even get my locker because other people grab it for me, before me. So I got to get a different one, the one right next to it. But no, not that day. They were right there. Just boom. They're right there waiting to see what's going on. That happened to me on Monday. All right. So then yesterday, so last night, I was hanging out with my brother, saying he wanted to talk and stuff, and so I've been trying to help him help himself, and and so he's like, well, can you explain to me why is it that all of a sudden when I talk about Yahuwah, I use his real name, and Yahusha his real name, not any other names. Why does it matter? What's the difference? Why? Who cares? So then this came from my spirit, came out just like this. So I go to my brother. I'm like, look, my brother has a 10-year-old son and an 8-year-old son. Okay. I asked him, what if your 10-year-old son, no, his name's Abraham. Okay, my brother's name is Abraham. What if your son one day just decides to call you Goofy or whatever, Michael, a different name that's not your name? How would you feel? And he kept doing it over and over again. He's disrespecting you, right? And his answer would be, I spank him, straighten him out. I said, how do you think the Father feels? His name's Yahuwah. And they change it completely to a different name. And daily, people are using a different name trying to refer to him, but it's not him. That's somebody else. That's not Goofy is not Abraham. Okay? And even Abraham, if you want to have a short name to it, okay, call him Abe. But see, Yahuwah has a short name too. Yah. Those are his names in Hebrew, and that's why I told my brother, that's why I choose to use his real names, because I don't want to be disrespecting him every time I call him a different name. And for another thing is, why in the word they change his name almost 7,000 times. They changed the name Yahuwah into Lord and God, which are titles. There's not even his name. But if you look up those names or those titles, they also have meanings in different languages. In the Hebrew language, Lord means Baal. God is actually a word, a short name of Gadriel. Gadriel was an entity way back in the day. Why is it that the only name that was changed in the Bible was the Most High's? But when they're talking about Baal, they called him Baal. They didn't call him whatever, Mickey Mouse or whatever. They didn't change his name. The only for the enemies' names, they're all kept the same. The only name that was changed was the Most High. Why? Because they wanted to take away the power from the word. They wanted to take away that's the name that has power. They softened us up, humanity, by gradually changing the name from Yahuwah, you know. Then they keep changing. There was no J, they put a J. Then they kept changing it gradually through time, and now everybody calls him something, you know, a name that's not really his name. And if your son loves you, he's gonna cut it out. He's like, okay, sorry, Dad. I'm sorry. So if you love the Father enough, do your own homework. You're gonna have to say sorry. You gotta understand. The road to the Father is narrow. The road to getting lost is wide. So if you chosen one, same thing. If you're not being accepted, you're probably doing what you're supposed to be doing. Because Revelation 12:9 says that the enemy came to deceive the whole world. You know what I'm saying? Religion is one of the enemy's tactics. So if you follow religion, you're not going nowhere. You're definitely not going nowhere, you know? So I was just trying to explain that to my brother, you know, yesterday. And you know, and that's why I choose to use his real name, and I choose to do my own study myself approved. I don't go to like a church, you know, because I just feel like, you know, it's just, if it's mainstream, it's probably not it. It's probably not it. The road is narrow, but the road to getting lost is wide. So guess what, guys? Hey, I'm only giving you guys this stuff and telling these things so you guys can go help yourselves. Help yourselves. Study yourselves approved. Time's running out. We've been talking about this. We've been talking about throughout the podcast what's been going on. You know, I know a lot of people are going to hear a lot of this stuff and are going to be like, it's fine. Self-will. But when the day of judgment comes, you're not going to be able to say, hey, I didn't hear. And the one last thing I'm gonna talk about real fast is you gotta understand this. We're living in this last generation. We're the most educated because we have everything in our hands, but we're gonna be the hardest to be judged. See, like previous, like our parents and our grandparents, they didn't have all the information in hand, so they only had what people gave them. You know, so they're gonna be judged totally different than we are. Now, us, born in the 80s, you know, born in the 80s and 90s, you've lived half your life without no technology. You know, you got the basics in those old phones or big phones, and you lived through the whole thing. You lived from having a house phone, you know, the dial one like this. You lived from there to where now you have a phone and you have a computer basically in your hand. So you know what it is not to have a computer in your hand, and now you know what it is to have a computer in your hand. So guess how we're going to be judged? We're going to be judged more harshly than those are because we have all the information in our hand. And the only reason that we're not accepting it is because we're prideful, we're boastful, and we just, you know, hey, we want the Father to fit us instead of us trying to fit the Father. With that being said, from the Oquendo perspective, stay safe, stay smooth. God bless you, my brother, sister. I'm out. Peace.